Hi everyone, I'm thrilled to announce Bakare Mubarak from Lagos, Nigeria, who is a cultural ambassador promoting African culture in the world. Hi Bakare, thank
Hello,
you.
Vera.
Yeah,
How are you today? How are you today?
thank you for attending that live talk, and I have some questions to you. You are a cultural ambassador, the tallest model in Sub Saharan Africa. Tell me your life story. How did you came a point to choose your destiny to be an ambassador? And why did you choose a model career for your life?
Thank you so much for having me once again. I appreciate. Thanks for the privilege to talk about myself. My name is Bakare Mubarak, as you've said earlier, a creative, uh, a fashion entrepreneur, a cultural ambassador, a cultural consultant, and the tallest model in Sub Saharan Africa. My journey as a model started while I was about 15 at the time when I took a role in a movie. That was the first movie I took a role in. That was in Kwara State. That's the north central part of Nigeria. And there was a casting that held at the time I was in school. I was just in my senior secondary school one at the time. I was pretty young, and good enough, I was casted to be one of the lead roles, one of the lead roles in the film, because the name of the film is The Red House 7. And then, as the name implies, it was a name. Like I said, as the name implies, it was a film that that intended to showcase the life of students in boarding schools in Nigeria. You know, it portrays how life for juniors and for seniors are in secondary schools at the time in Nigeria. And good enough, I was casted, to be amongst the 7 boys, that took the role but as the name implies, like I said, the Red House 7. These 7 boys were in Red House in school at the time. And at the time, I felt really comfortable in front of the camera, and I delivered my role just absolutely perfectly, and it was at the time I felt, oh, so I have been able to unbox a new talent. And then I felt comfortable in front of the camera, most of all. And then, as a model, one of the ethics I would say is that you have to be comfortable in front of the camera, because you're literally going to be in front of the camera every other time. So it was at the time I started, considering modeling. And at a point in time in 2015-16, I represented my mom's local government in Kwara State, because my mom is from Kwara State, and she's from Ife local government of Kwara State, north central geopolitical zone of Nigeria, and I represented that local government in a pageantry, called the Mr. and Miss Kwara International Pageantry, and fortunately, I emerged the winner, and good enough, I was groomed as a model and as a pageant king simultaneously. So I was actually taught, to do the catwalk and, the basics about modeling at the time, whilst simultaneously I was also thought to be a pageant king. And like I said, I emerged the winner in the contest, and then I did the national stage. So at the time, it was at the time I unboxed my my modeling capacity, and I started off, in 2016, and ever since then I've been doing that. So talking about why I chose that field, for me, I would say that modeling is not the ultimate. Rather, it is a deployment strategy for me to position myself for global opportunities. Now, this is what I mean by that. One way or the other, if I wasn't pardon me, I mentioned that I'm a creative as well as you know, a cultural ambassador. So like I said earlier, I once spoke with you about the fact that I think it is stereotypic to think every tall boy must play basketball. So nonetheless, I was trying to change the narrative. I would call myself a change maker in that regard, or a game changer, you know, or, as the case may be. So it was all in a bid to change the narrative and then to preach the narrative with my total embodiment and then my life as a whole. So nonetheless, I tend to preach to the populace, and most especially the very tall people in the society, you know, that you do not need to play basketball if you do not want to. And ultimately, you can be great doing whatever aside basketball. You can be iconic with whatever you do aside basketball, literally. And then, you know, one way or the other, I tend to inspire the younger ones who are really coming up very, very tall, you know, because people do not understand the adverse effect that just the commentaries they pass onto tall people that are not playing basketball, because the society automatically thinks they should be playing basketball. And that's why you see people on the streets, you know, as a very tall person. Every single tall person across the world must have experienced that at a point in time or the other. You know, when you see people and they tell you, "Oh, why aren't you playing basketball? You should be in the NBA. You should be playing basketball." You know, so this is the more reason why I decided to be a rebel, you know, to that conventional norm or standard that you should be playing basketball as a tall person. And I felt there was a need, you know, to draw attention and then to uphold our culture as Africans. You know, the more reason why I was able to leverage on my status as a model to promote the African culture, most especially, and then art. You know, on the flip side, simultaneously with ecotourism and lifestyle, and ultimately propagating my message of peace, unity, and solidarity, not just to Africans, you know, and not just to the world alone, you know, the world in general, and then bridging the gap between continental Africans and Africans in the diaspora, because Mother Africa is the source and the cradle. Nonetheless, this has been my drive.
Yeah, so actually, being a model, you are much closer to fashion, to design, to art, to everything related with culture than being a basketball player. That's why you are engaged in that artistic and design society. And this is a way to promote national clothes that you wear during your trip in Africa. They all look stunning, actually. I'm so inspired of clothes, of ornaments, of the beautiful sticks that I saw on Instagram, that you told me this is signature of wealth and being a king, something like that. Like if you have that colorful sticks, you have important role in society.
Oh, the regalia I had on, that was while I was in Kenya, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I get it. Go ahead. Oh, you want me to talk about that regalia right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for that question. I tend to find that question very exciting because personally, I found that attire very, very exciting. You know, it's really fantastic, as you have said, and that is called the Maasai sugar. You know, that's called the Maasai sugar. That's the name. You know, that's the indigenous name, and then it is really it's actually peculiar to the people of the Maasai people. Literally, there's a culture in East Africa, in a part of East Africa called Maasai, the Maasai culture. This you know, they're usually nomadic set of people. You know, nonetheless, they're not just settled in Kenya alone, but they are also settled around some parts of Tanzania, and Tanzania and Kenya are more of a neighboring country, in East Africa. Nonetheless, it's Maasai. The Maasai culture is one of the largest culture in the whole of East, Central, and Indian Ocean islands. So the Maasai people tend to settle more around Kajiado County in Kenya. I found quite a number of Maasai people in Kajiado County when I went to Kenya. So this fabric happens to be their indigenous fabric, and then they take it very, very seriously. You would always see Maasai man still wearing his Maasai attire. They actually take a lot of pride in this fantastic attire. So there's a way they tend to, it's more like a robe, so they tie it like a robe, and there are about 3 pieces. You can use 3 pieces or you can use 2 pieces. You tie one like a robe, and then you have the other one covering, to cover up your topmost part of your body. And then it could be in different colors. They have different colors. They have almost about the same texture, but then different colors. But then this is to show the beauty of the Maasai people, and especially the Maasai warrior. Then, if I could remember, you asked about the stick. There was a stick I held at the time when I was shooting and that stick actually signifies authority. It signifies it commands respect. In the Maasai culture. So if you have the stick, it shows you are an highly respected person. So there's another feel to the stick. There's some sticks that has different shades. It has different shades. Then the moment you ascend a particular level, you tend to have they tend to change your stick to a darker shade. So when they do there's a ceremony. It's largely known around the Maasai culture. They tend to after circumcision of a man, after the circumcision of a Maasai man, there's a way they tend to do a very massive ceremony. For all, like in the family, they tend to do that ceremony, just after circumcision, which has actually shown that they have graduated from teenagehood, and then they give them a stick at the time. So the moment they grow, there are stages. So stages after stages, your stick, the shade of the stick changes, it becomes darker.
I have a question. What if one person will decide to create a stick by himself, just to feel that he is a powerful and a respected person? I guess it will not work in society if you do it by itself. Or maybe if you do it, you can get some punishment from the leaders of society.
So as a Maasai person, like I said, the very first step before you have a stick is a ceremony. So it's more like you have to be inducted. You have to be circumcised first. That's the first thing on the scale of preference, I'll say. So nonetheless, you have to have graduated, but then I was given the one I was given happens to be more like a ceremonial stick, and I had to project the culture. So it was given to me as more like as a gift, and as an art piece, literally. So the more reason why I could have it, So, but as a Maasai person, as a Maasai, you have to attain that level. You have to. The ceremony has to be held, and then it's something the Maasai people takes very, very seriously.
Yeah,
Take it very seriously.
That's very interesting. And what about your hat that you wear now?
Right. This is called the Abiriba cap. Actually, it's a significant cap in the Igbo culture. like I told you, we have three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. But then that's not the only ethnic groups we have. We have over 250, 300 thereabouts ethnic groups. But then the major ethnic groups are the Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo people. So this actually is the Igbo people are mostly settled around the eastern part of Nigeria, and then this cap is a very significant cap, peculiar to the Igbo culture. So you could wear it as a chief, as an honored chief, or you do. And then on the flip side, you do not have to have a chieftaincy title before you could wear it. You could also wear it as as an individual, if you so wish to. And then it's also used for, it's a ceremonial cap, so people tend to take pride. The Igbo people tend to take pride in wearing it to ceremonies, literally. So, as a cultural ambassador, I tend to be so diverse. The last cap I wore was a cap from the Cross-Riverian part of Nigeria. That's the southern part of Nigeria. And then today I have decided to be spontaneous enough to wear the Igbo cap. Thank you so much.
Yes, it looks very interesting.
So I was trying to say that usually the Abiriba cap has three major colors, which is the red, the black, and the white. Yes. So it's actually peculiar to the Abiriba cap. It has the red, the black, and the white colors.
What is the meaning of those colors?
The colors. Well, I cannot categorically say the meanings of the colors, but then I know for a fact that the three colors is peculiar to the Abiriba cap, and then it's majorly used by Igbo men for ceremonies, and you literally do not have to be a chief. You don't have to hold a chieftaincy title before you can wear it. You can as well wear it without being the chief.
How you identify your mission in life, the greatest mission?
Well, I would say that my mission is to actually liberate the young African minds, to make them realize the opportunities and the goodness of promoting and upholding our culture. Because like I once told you, I regard culture as the base of the economy. Because the high time Africa comes back to a cultural based system, the high time we will be more liberated, the high time our economy will thrive. I used an example sometime. I said, if you can imagine in a Muslim society, you cannot afford to sell pork in a Muslim society. Your company will go bankrupt. Or probably in a desert, you cannot sell bikinis to people in a desert because they need to cover up because of the sand and whatnot. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that the culture has a ripple effect on the economy. Let's take the Abiriba cap I'm wearing as an example, and as a case study. If you look at the Abiriba cap, it's a craft, that a Nigerian will do. A Igbo Nigerian will do. Someone will knit the cap. It's often knitted, So you can imagine the ripple effect it will bring to the economy if this cap is as is as publicized as the popular baseball arts, and then people from across Nigeria, regardless of the religion, regardless of the culture, wear this cap, or people from across the world. It gains a global across the world wear this cap, and then it's every single unit is being knitted by a Nigerian. You can imagine the ripple effect that will bring to to the economy. You can imagine. And talking about African fabrics, look at the shuka, the Mashai shuka. At some point in time, if when you look critically at the shuka, it appeals to aesthetics. You know, it's a very wonderful. It has the red feel. You know, it's colorful. It is beautiful. You know, you can wear it anywhere. You can actually even incorporate the fabric into a contemporary urban wear. You know, and then so you can imagine if people from Africa, if every single person in, for instance, let's say in Kenya, decide to buy the sugar, you know, you can imagine they will buy the sugar because the sugar is being made by, by indigenous people, and then these people tend to buy the sugar. So you can imagine that much unit of sugar that is being bought, and then the ripple effects that would cause on the economy. So nonetheless, I believe, the same goes for food, the same goes for music, you know, the same. And when you look at the African music, I often say is one of the greatest exports from Africa, you know, which is part of culture, you know, the pop, the Afro beat, you know, which is part of culture, I would say, you know, dance of the kind of dance people, a particular set of people do, the food they eat, the drink they drink, and you know, so these things. So I'll say that in a nutshell, we should try as much as possible as Africans to come back to a cultural-based system so that the economy will thrive.
Actually, African music inspires Western world a lot, and it has big influence during past century and nowadays as well. We are liking to listen African jazz and African some ethnic music as well. In YouTube, we have a lot of playlists, and those rhythms and music inspires a lot. That and I'm always trying to create my artworks listening music, and I combine music with colors and lines. And because I'm going to paint your portraits as an ambassador of African culture, I would like to ask you about your favorite color and what does it mean to you?
In honesty, I'll say that I do not. This is weird. This is really weird. I'll say I do not have a favorite color, but I'll say that I honestly do not have a specific favorite color. I just go with the flow. I am just a free bird. You know, I tend to connect with with nature. I tend to connect with humanity without preference of so much. But then I will say that I tend to find I think I tend to find blue kind of artistic, because then talking about nature, blue is a rare color, you know, and yeah, I would say, you know, but then I cannot categorically say I have a best color, in honesty.
Mm-hmm. If we talk about freedom, which color you can identify with freedom? Maybe
with freedom.
Yeah.
Wow. Could that be white? You know, when talking about freedom, I think we might be looking at white. You know, I I do not know about the global standard of a color in correlation with freedom, but then for me, I think white. You know, as much as white signifies peace, I think it signifies freedom. So, you know, in my own person, like from my point of view, you know, as much as white signifies peace, I think it also signifies freedom. You know, because then anywhere you have peace, you know, tranquility, then there's freedom, if you ask me.
That's cool. Also, one more question. You know that I'm an artist who uses calligraphy to create my artworks, and I combine calligraphy of different cultures and nations. And I read that in Nigeria, you have 527 different languages.
Right.
Between all 514 are alive. It means they're still in use. Which letters do you use in Nigeria? Also, I read that you mainly use Arabic script and you use English language like an international one. But if we talk about contemporary Nigerian lettering culture, which language do you use as a symbol maybe of Nigerian nationality? Something like that.
Okay, when talking about the official language, if that's what you're trying to say, in Nigeria, English is our official language, literally, because we are a Commonwealth. We are part of the Commonwealth countries, literally, and when talking about official language, it is English, no doubt. But then talking about alphabets, in Yoruba language, in Igbo language, and in Hausa language, we still make use of the letters, the regular alphabets, the English alphabets, but then it has different tones. They have different tones, they have different rhythms, they have, but then we write them like the regular letters, not different from the Mandarin, the Chinese Mandarin, or the Arabic letters, but then it's actually it's synonymous to the English letters, literally. But then they have punctuations, they have signs, they have the more like the English letters, but then with signs and different sounds.
If you talk about Nigerian languages and writings, do people write from right to left?
No,
or from left to right?
We actually write from left to right. We write from left to right. Unlike Arabic and what have you, yes, we write from left to right.
Okay, right. That's interesting. So, what was the most memorable project in which you managed to realize your mission as an ambassador? And you can explain the latest one, for example.
I've got quite a number of projects, like I'll say, and I connect so deeply with so many of them. But I'll tell you about a project I did on the African indigenous fabric, which I wrote an article that was a little bit controversial because I said in the heading of the article, or would I say the title of the article, was that Ashoke. Ashoke is the name of that fabric. It's a powerful hand-woven traditional African fabric. It's actually hand-woven from scratch to finish. I'll show you Ashoke sometime. It's a fantastic design, and it feels like the denim. It feels like the actual denim. Dating back to time years immemorial. Literally, it has been in existence. Our predecessors have woven from the scratch, to finish, and then they have taken pride in this fabric. So I did a documentary, a fashion documentary film of about 40 minutes in total. First one was 20 minutes, and then it was in collaboration with the Africa Fashion Week London and Sustainable Fashion Week New York, and also in collaboration with the First Lady of Kwara State, Nigeria. Kwara State happens to be one of the cities where Ashoke is largely known to be a major source of expertise, of people who lives there. So it's actually a means of livelihood, for so many people in Kwara State. There's another place in Nigeria that happens to be called Iseyin. Iseyin is in Oyo State. That's the southwestern part of Nigeria, and then Iseyin is regarded the capital of Ashoke in the world. Then we have Ashoke being used and made in some parts of Ekiti State, also in some parts of in Kogi State too. So I was able to successfully produce this 40-minute documentary from the scratch to finish, in that of the Kwara State, and then that of the Ekiti state. I'll send you a copy of that. I'll probably send you a link to see.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fantastic documentary going into details, showing how Ashoke is being made. You know, showing how it is being woven. You know, using the loom from shredding the loom to, you know, to weaving, to how it's being cut, you know, to the sizes, to the length, to the breadth, to how it has now, you know, evolved into being styled in different ways, you know, contemporary designs and what have you. It is a blockbuster. You have to see. So recently, we just finalized, you know, we did that of the Kwara State, which is in the north central part of Nigeria, and then we also did that of Ekiti State. Ekiti State is actually in the southwestern part of Nigeria. We have about 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So this the first one, Kwara State, is in the north central geopolitical zone, and then the second one is in the southwestern geopolitical zone. You know, you should visit Nigeria sometime, and then I'll probably take you to a hub where Ashoke is being made, and to connect to this beauty.
Yeah, for sure. After pandemic will go away, we can travel freely. Probably I shall come. Yeah.
Say that again.
After pandemic will go away, I shall come to visit Nigeria. That's for sure.
Look forward to that. Look forward to that.
Yes, tell me about your trip to Kenya that you just came to East Africa. What was the most exciting thing? And you already explained me that there are no plastic and they care about ecology a lot.
Yes, they care. They care a lot about ecology, like you said. You know, they tend to, you know, it's a policy. You know, it's a working policy that they tend to use paper bags, you know, more than nylon bags. You know, and it's really it tells a lot on the economy, on the environmental status. You know, the environmental well-being and what have you. Kenya, and then I'd like to say, I wouldn't want to forget to say that Kenyans are very highly hospitable set of people. They are very, you know, I had fantastic warm receptions. Like I said, it was a very serious research and development trip for me. I met so many people because someone like myself, I tend to I do not joke with networks. I do not joke with interpersonal relationships, because there's a saying that wherever you are and wherever you want to be is as a result of the people you have met and the people that has met you. You know, yeah. So I was able to, you know, in fact, I met one of the greatest brains out of Africa. You know, I regard in person of Professor Pielo Lumumba. You know, he's a senior advocate. He's a lawyer in Kenya, and he happens to be one of the greatest brains, like I said, on African issues, Africa and African issues. You know, African history, African. You know, he is a very highly prestigious personality. You know, I met him in person, and I was also delegated by a project, you know, that called the 2030 Black Resettlement Mother Africa. It's a project that intends, you know, to accommodate African descent from across the world that are trying to come back to Africa. And then I was delegated to also preach to also convey the message and the mission and the vision of that particular entity to Professor Pielo Lumumba. And, you know, I was also able to meet quite a number of youth leaders, you know, and African youth leaders. You know, I met fantastic, resourceful and vibrant youths too. You know, I was also delegated by Create Nigeria. Create Nigeria happens to be a creative, like the first creative record label in Nigeria, that aims or hopes to, that strives to actually connect creatives across Africa together. So I was also delegated to do a workshop for the ambassadors, that resides in Kenya. So it was a wonderful one, connecting with people. I connected so much with the ambience too, with the breathtaking ambience, with the tourist destinations, with the vast landmass, the animals, it's a fantastic place, the largest migration of wildebeest in the world is actually resides in Kenya, the Masai Mara. We also have the Amboseli National Park in Kajiado. The Amboseli National Park is regarded the home of the African elephant. It's so blissful. The cuisines, I would not forget the cuisines. Fantastic cuisines. It's actually irresistible. They have. I really love yamachoma. There's such thing called yamachoma. It's grilled meat, actually, and it's a lot. There's a lot to say.
Yes, I actually wanted to ask you about your favorite food, and you already replied.
I love grilled meat. There's such thing called mutura. They call it mutura. It's actually the intestine of a cow, literally. There's a way they tend to garnish it. It's fantastic. It's been garnished, put together, and roasted. And then you have on the side there's such thing called kachumbari. Kachumbari is a mixture of fresh tomatoes, fresh chili. They call chili in Kenya, and then tomato, onion, fresh actually, and then mixed with a little bit of vinegar, So it's fantastic. It's fantastic, and then they tend to spice it with they garnish it with a certain leaf. I can't remember what the leaf is called, but then it goes pari passu with yamachoma.
You explain it so tasty, so I want to try right now.
Sometime.
And another question. Do you live in Lagos, Nigeria, in the capital? Yes. Can you describe the most incredible and interesting thing about that city?
Well, trust me, I'll say point blank, the people that live here, because I believe the people who lives in a particular geographical setting makes the most of that geographical setting. So I'll say that in general, the African people are so resourceful, but then using Lagos State as a case study, it's the most populous, it's the second most populous state, in Nigeria, and it's the people are so resourceful. I must tell, very resourceful people. And then I'll say that Lagos State is also the most cosmopolitan city in Nigeria. You find every single ethnic group living in Lagos City. I'll say so. The people, once again.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Have you met European tourists in Nigeria? Absolutely. Is it much people coming from Europe to visit your country, or not so many?
Quite a number. I have so many friends, from across the world. You are one of my friends. I tend to socialize a lot. I'll call myself one of the greatest extroverts in the world. So, by virtue of that, I've been able to make so many friends. I've met quite a number of, of European friends that comes to Africa. There was a time in 2017, I was the youngest among 17 delegates that went on the Southwest, the Nigerian Travel Week Southwestern tour. So we had people from across the world. We had two Cypriots, we had a German professor, Professor Wolfgang, the German, and the Ugandan. We had people from, we had a French person, we had someone from Uganda, we had quite a number of people from across the world.
If we talk about creativity, do you like to sing songs, to make paintings, drawing, dance by yourself?
Well, I would say that I tend, I connect more with drawings. Back in the days, I used to draw, but as we all know, we learned every single person, whilst growing up or as a kid, has the potential to actually be an artist. It only depends on how much you are able to explore that talent or that skill. So as a kid, I was a very wonderful artist. As a kid, I used to I used to have drawings. I had a notepad where I had quite a lot of drawings and what have you. So I'll say that drawings, literally drawings. Maybe painting. I never explored painting. I never did. Right.
Did you publish your drawings from childhood in your Instagram, for example? Can we see it?
In honesty, at some point in time, I lost my notepad whilst growing up. So unfortunately, I couldn't. But then I could still make a few pieces.
So thank you so much for that very interesting talk. I really appreciate your time, your efforts, and it was very nice to meet you in real time in Zoom.
I'll greet you the Yoruba way, in the Yoruba culture. Yoruba culture, in my dialect, I'm a Yoruba person, from the Yoruba tribe, and then we say Esheun Modupe, and then we say Eni ba se ni lore ta ba dupe bi olosha ko ni leru lo. So that means that whoever shows you a kind gesture and you refuse to thank them, it's as good as it's equal to you being robbed, if you get my point. Yeah. So nonetheless, the Yoruba culture happens to be a very courteous culture. So when you do a favor for a Yoruba person, they tell you "Esheun mo dupe." That means thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and hope to meet you again in Nigeria, probably.
In person.
Yes, and thanks everyone for watching this not live stream but record, and we keep in touch with you and continue our journey through the art to promote African culture. And I feel very inspired after conversation with you. It was very interesting to dive deep into the some specific cultural things about Africa. And keep in touch and wish you very good day and successful life.
And I was going to say this, I wouldn't go without saying this. I sincerely appreciate your work so much. I connect with them so much. They are very powerful. They're very, they carry a lot of information. At the same time, they are just they are impeccable, I would say. Keep up the good work. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for you too. Okay.
And once more, I'd like to appreciate you, for finding me worthy as a muse, to go on one of your projects in recent time. Thank you so much for that. I'm humbled.
Thank you. I always inspire to paint people who have deep background behind their face, because to paint just a human face is not enough for me. And I want to express big personalities, and I found you as a big personality as well. And thank you for all your efforts, and wish you good luck. Okay. Bye-bye.